RadioZero.
It's RadioZero with Rick and Rose, 10, 11, 24, 5:02 p.m. Central something time. Central Daylight Time or Central... Ooh, I just got a notification that we're live because I clicked on that I was interested to hear what we were going to talk about.
We live stream every other week at 5 p.m. Central on Facebook, on the RadioZero page, and on the Poster Children page on Facebook. On Twitch at PCJC USA, and on YouTube on the Poster Children YouTube channel. You can subscribe to the podcast, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, RadioZero.us. You can patronize us at patreon.com/RadioZero. Thanks to all of our patrons for supporting the show. All right, we're good.
I thought you were going to hit the romper bumper.
No, romper bumper people.
Yeah.
No new. I should start going through all the... see, now Bag Boy is calling me right now.
Oh, because I'm painting his room, but I'm not painting his room right now.
He's calling me about...
You better... Yeah, go answer it. Answer it on the... Maybe... we have a call. We have a caller. You're live on RadioZero.
Hey, we're...
You're live on RadioZero.
We're recording... We're doing the podcast right now.
How come you didn't call me?
Podcast. I have something to say to the podcast.
Okay. Don't swear.
There's a fire on the 18th floor.
Ooh. What floor are you on?
Of your building?
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
What?
I just saw some guys in like fireman outfits. I guess they were firemen. Running down the stairs.
What floor are you on?
You can hear the alarm going off.
Yeah.
It said to stay where I am.
Okay. Well, keep us up to date.
You can kind of see us there.
Yeah, Jesus. Okay. Well, if it's a 9/11 situation, we love you.
It's a 10/11. It's 10/11.
It is 10/11. Okay, be careful, man.
Hey, can I paint your room?
Okay. We're going to go.
Yeah, Sarah Hammer says something about my glasses look like one of Dr. Glockenflecken's characters. Maybe I'm going to take them off because I can't see. I can't see
what is
anything.
That?
I don't know. Yeah, what is that, Sarah Hammer? Who is Dr. Glock? Our child is in a building that's burning in Chicago. Should we go drive up there or something?
No, it sounds like there's a fire on the 18th floor. It doesn't
Okay.
mean that it's a conflagration or that a plane has flown into the building. He's on floor 28.
Okay, that's what I wanted to know if he was above or below the fire.
He's in the penthouse, I think.
Is
he's
he
the
really?
top floor, yeah.
Wow, that's cool. All right, well. On that note, what were we going to talk about? Let's talk about the election.
Really?
Yeah.
Right now? We're going to lead with that?
Here's the thing is that you haven't... Well, okay, what else you got?
No, go ahead.
The hurricane?
You already started.
The hurricane?
That's part of the election, right?
Actually, it's all part of the election. Okay, so ask me if I'm going to vote.
Are you going to vote?
For what?
Is this a conversation you've had?
No, not yet. For what?
For president?
For president of our country?
Yes.
The United States, right? Is that our country?
Yes.
I've heard of it before. United States. So there's a president. We're going to elect a president again?
That's correct.
Oh, who's running? Is Taylor Swift running? I think I heard that Taylor Swift was running.
I don't like this. I don't know
like her
where
very,
you're
yeah.
going.
I don't know.
Going with
I'm
this.
like,
What is
okay.
you feel like you've interacted with people who are
No, I'm
completely
listening
disengaged.
I'm listening to podcasts. I listen to Pod Save the World, right? I think or Pod Save America. I listen to that, and I like their music, by the way. But it's. And I listen to NPR and stuff, and they're having all the here's a group of people black young men are not going to vote for Kamala anymore because they're just getting because they feel like they can't vote for a woman. And then there's like, here's an example, and then here's hello, hi, I'm a black young man, and are you going to vote for Kamala? Nah, I just don't think I can because she's a woman. I have to listen to this, and then well, here's a black man who is going to vote for Kamala. Oh, okay, I feel a little bit better now, And then there's the fund drive, and then
yeah, well, and
it's making me crazy.
Yeah, I mean it is, but I think what's weird about it is like, yeah, I mean I think we just need to worry about the youth vote anyways, right? I don't think you need to divide that up into,
I'm not dividing it up. That was a story I just heard just now.
I'm not saying you did. I'm just saying that it's kind of like these ideas. I don't know. Yeah. Hopefully the young people will vote.
Okay,
because they all hate Trump. That was something. It was like, what was it? It was like 30%.
They hate him.
30% gap or a 45. Was it a 45% gap in like young people between Trump and Kamala Harris? It was some insane number.
Was it between young people or young people voters?
Yeah, that's what I'm not sure about.
Voters,
but
right?
It was just like it was like a massive, yeah.
Okay, so Dr. Glockenflecken is an optometrist who has an amazing YouTube channel. He speaks truth about medical industry via clever video skits. Oh, I'll have to check that out. And then Sarah says, my kiddo is 18 now and will be voting for the first time. I can't wait to sit down with him and go through the ballot, whether he's into that or not. Where do you live, Sarah? Do you live in an important state? That's the question.
Our kid voted already.
Oh, did he?
I didn't even realize that. He's 20 going on 21. He hasn't voted in a presidential election.
Oh, but he was an election worker.
Yeah. And he also, I think he voted in 2022.
Yeah, I know he did. Yeah. Yeah, but this is his first presidential election.
Yeah.
That's nice.
And he voted already, but absentee ballot.
Yeah,
vote
cool.
by mail. Yeah.
All right. So I'm
thank God before his building burnt down.
They're gonna throw away all the mail-in votes anyway.
That's maybe.
Yeah. They're gonna. So they're. I mean, I'm not the one thing.
I'll tell you. Yeah. I dropped it in the mailbox at the local post office, the drive-through. You
dropped his the child.
There were two.
Chicago man.
There are two boxes, and the first one was stuffed full, and you could actually, I could have pulled some of the letters out of it. So I backed up and went to the other box and put it in there.
God.
Yeah. I was like, wow, this is not good.
Was it stuffed full of ballots?
I don't know what was in there. I could have, but I do believe that's a federal offense, right?
Yeah, I hope so.
Pulling mail out of a mailbox.
Yeah. Sarah's in California, so yeah, it's important, but not as important as say Michigan. Like if you lived in Detroit, your vote would be more important. Your vote's still important, of course, but we're talking from Illinois here, where our vote is not important. Also,
it's not that it's not important.
Really not important.
We're not a swing state.
So but I'm listening to, and then there's like, it's I'm still going to talk about the realization that I'm highly political and many people are not. Many people don't care about that stuff at all. They really don't care. And I don't blame them, I guess,
And that's kind of an extreme viewpoint. It's just that they're not as deeply involved. Right? I think it's unfair to say that everybody else or the majority of people just don't care at all. They're just not invested. They haven't been invested in it for the past 2 years.
I mean, but okay, so I'm like I get all my news now from New York Times PitchBot, because that's like the real news. That's the reality. It's like is this hurricane Kamala's Katrina, and Dems in disarray, and it tweets out every so often. It tweets something funny out, and every so often it tweets out like an actual news story, and it's like I'm just constantly reminded of the thing where you're on a plane and you're like the flight attendant comes to you and says, it's dinner time, would you like chicken or a plate of shit with broken glass in it? And you go, well, how's the chicken cooked? And it's
was it the PitchBot? Was it the Washington Post that had the J.D. Vance op?
Oh,
opinion piece?
Yeah, J.D. Vance opinion piece. Well, okay, so that makes sense because Kamala Harris went on 60 Minutes, right, for like a softball interview. Well, actually, they gave her hard questions, right? They were like, you think you should have done this, sooner, and like and so the guys on Pod Save America are talking about, she's got to get in front of like the people who are disengaged, like, so she's got to do sports events, and she's just got to get in front of like people who don't listen to the news, right?
Yeah.
So that's what she's doing this week.
Good.
Yeah. And then you got your Trump is in Detroit insulting Detroit. And people are still going to vote for him. I mean, that's what like breaks my brain, is that people are still going to vote for this man. People are still going to vote for him. Like with all the shit, and and then some other news story. I can't even read these news stories anymore. A news story went across my phone this morning that said like, do sex, what are they, like sexual abuse stories even matter anymore, or something like that? Like right? Did somebody do something else wrong and people don't care?
Puff Daddy?
I don't even know what happened with that. Is that important for me to know?
I don't know. I don't know how. So yeah, I'm. Yeah. I guess maybe it's important, but that would mean that I would have to be engaged with popular music 10 or 15 years ago.
Oh yeah. I don't know. Like I'm in my capoeira class, and there's like reference, like teachers talking about I blah blah blah. P Diddy, is it P Diddy or Puff Daddy? P Diddy, is that the same thing?
Yeah.
I don't
Sean
like
Puffy Combs.
I don't. Yeah, I have no idea what happened.
At least I know that. I know all that.
Yeah. Okay. We got Joe Christman says Happy Friday. William Smith says nice Baja Blast. What's the Baja Blast? Okay. April Smith says, if Trump somehow gets back in power, I can see migration from red states to blue states, especially
maybe it's
when
the microphone. Microphone looks like a Baja Blast.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
From Oklahoma, I can see migration from red states to blue ones, especially when it comes to queer folks. That's good, because that's whenever queer folks move in, then like you have booming business, according to what's his name 20 years ago or whatever.
Yeah.
The creative class.
Daniel Pink.
No, the other guy.
Wasn't that wasn't Daniel Pink?
No, that was a creative class. Richard Florida.
Oh, Richard Florida.
Somebody,
I can't remember.
That's a play. I'm thinking about art projects, like, because I'm trying to make this talk that, like, I think Andy Lester is like, what are you going to talk about? And I'm like, I don't know. I have to talk. I'm talking at the Illinois Art Educators Association, like, conference, which, like, we went to once because we gave a talk, did we? Or something? Why were we there?
Yeah, I think we've presented a couple times when it's been here.
Yeah, we presented, and Jay Ryan was there.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Oh my God, Jay Ryan.
Keynote.
Yeah, do you remember? You saw somebody standing across the room, like a huge ballroom?
Well, no. What happened?
Yeah.
Well, I tell this story all the time.
Tell it again. I love it.
I had my red cap work shirt on that was my uniform for many years, and I was like, and then all the wait staff, servers were walking around, and I'm like, I'm dressed like the servers, and then I went to point. I think I was talking to you, and I pointed and said, "See, I'm dressed like all the servers," and then it was Jay walking up to us, and he had the same outfit.
Let me ask you this:
Chicago work shirt outfit,
right.
and it was like
Chicago rocker outfit.
Yeah, we weren't wearing coveralls, right? We weren't wearing the electrical audio uniform,
right?
But it was pretty close.
Yeah. So here's my question. What were all the other art educators wearing? Because they're K through 12 teachers. So what were you probably looked nicer than them, right? What were they wearing?
No.
Were they wearing suits?
Well, I think...
Like, what do Illinois art educators wear?
You mean the male ones? I mean,
yeah.
I think I feel like it was a predominantly female audience. And so they were dressed like art teachers.
That would make sense. Okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah, the day is coming close. And then the other thing is, like, my mom's got a friend who was an art educator, I guess, like back in the day. Do you know about this? Yeah, I told you about this, right? And she like texted my mom. She's like, Arlene, I'm going to go see your Rose talk. And my mom's like, why is my friend going to see you talk? Like, why the hell would anybody want to listen to you talk who knows me? Are you playing tennis?
That's the way you've interpreted your mother's confusion. I think the confusion would be more like, why would a woman of my age that I knew in the Chicago suburbs be going to see my daughter speaking?
I don't know. No, I think it's more like, why the hell does anybody want to hear you talk? You're not playing a racket sport. Okay. April. Okay, we did the April Smith. So can you see people moving from red states to blue states? I already saw somebody move from a blue state to a red state. So people don't care. People are just going to go. Why are the red states warmer than the blue states? That's what I don't get. Why?
Climate change?
No.
Global warming?
Why are why the South? Why aren't, I don't want to say smarter people. Why aren't those places Democratic places? Why does it have to be in the freezing cold North?
Well, they were Democratic places.
Okay, and then what happened?
What was it called? The Southern Strategy. Richard Nixon, starting with Richard Nixon, 1968, and the Civil Rights Act, Lyndon Johnson, losing the South.
Yeah, I know that you know it. Can you explain it to me? I remember when you learned it. I remember you talking about it, but I forgot because I'm busy thinking about.
So you had the Dixiecrats, the Southern Democrats, who they came from. The Democrats in the South were, sort of more on the sort of their origins. So the Republican Party, right, came from it was an abolitionist party, right? So Republicans were not, if you were a former, not a former, civil. In the Civil War, right? In the Confederate States, right? Those Confederate States, they were Democrat, right? A lot, predominantly, right?
Yes.
And so then things just kind of flipped in the 60s when desegregation, right? And the Civil Rights Act. And so a lot of those Democrats, Southern Democrats, split off and migrated to the Republican Party. The Republican Party basically captured the racists.
This is a video, right? This is a film, isn't it? Wasn't there a film about this?
There's
Just
lots
recently?
of films, lots of
Yeah,
documentaries.
All right. So Sarah says Danny Pink is a Doctor Who character. No kidding. I don't get it either. Sarah says, when I try to kindly engage Trump supporters in discussion, they have nothing to say. They smirk and have some sort of snide comment. Yeah.
Yeah. No. I think it's just it's the people who maybe just have a superficial kind of experience with Trump. I don't know how you can have a superficial experience with him because he was president after all for 4 years.
Yeah, I like when he said grabs the pussy. Like what?
How about the thing about like sending what was it, the ventilators to Russia?
COVID tests.
Was it COVID
tests?
Yeah.
That's the new thing.
Jesus.
Like because he can be manipulated by other dictators and stuff, and that people still, that's not going to turn anybody away either. Well, that's good. He should be. We send money to other countries. Why shouldn't he send COVID tests? And then
because he wasn't right. He was against sending them out here, right, or something like that. It was like they weren't distributing them here.
I think the problem is he's a dumb man. He's stupid. Like that, like he's dumb. He's completely unqualified to be the president He's completely unqualified, and he's got people controlling him now. Like people are like steering him, like it's the Project 2025. So how is
I don't know how much they're steering him. I
Yeah.
think it really is. I mean, so watching the front line, that every election they have the front line,
Yeah.
about the two candidates
Jesus.
and their history, and
watched
seeing it again, and just realizing, and they were just talking about the movie The Apprentice. I just heard an interview with the director, and realizing how much Roy Cohn, who was the guy who this New York lawyer who was involved with the McCarthy era and everything like that, but also became a mentor for Trump, and Roy Cohn was involved, was the lawyer for when the Trump company got the civil rights violations, right? Where basically they were marking people's applications for residence
Housing,
at their housing with a C if they were African American, and not allowing them in, like this huge, atrocious violation of housing, civil rights and housing, and they got sued by the federal government, and Roy Cohn was their lawyer, and basically it was like Roy Cohn's whole thing was like, it's like, you just say you did nothing wrong, this is all lies, all this kind of stuff. You never admit or apologize, and it was basically kind of Roy Cohn's mentorship, and so of that kind of approach, which is kind of like
just keep going forward,
and the truth be damned, it's like, and never apologize, never say you were wrong, never say you made a mistake, and all that. And so I don't think he's under that much control. I think if he becomes president again,
that's what I mean.
All of the mechanics, like,
who
are we going to appoint?
Like,
what are we going to get rid of the Department of Education, right? It's like all that stuff, like the mechanics of running the country is going to be passed off to those people. But I think what he's saying and what he's doing, and
he's not under
ideas,
anybody's.
And you look at that, like
his quote, ideas are all his. You turn on the spigot,
and it's like, watching that clip of him on Donahue in like 1982 or something, and he's like, China's ripping us off, Japan's ripping us off, we're being taken advantage. It's the same shit. It's just it's kind of he's been this way the whole time.
Okay. Yeah,
but and also I don't know if he's dumb. I guess he's dumb, but I mean, he's not that dumb, because he's manipulated his way to the presidency, and then almost
he's rich.
Yes.
Yeah.
But there's only so far you can go with being rich, right?
Yeah.
Maybe not.
Maybe
but
he's
not
lazy.
that rich, right?
Maybe he's lazy. Maybe that's what it is. No, see, that's the thing. He's quote not that rich, right? And he's not that dumb. It's because people are controlling him. I saw the movie Being There. I know what's going on. People are people are helping him out.
Yeah,
there has to be people who are helping him out. I mean,
to say that he's like a dumb puppet, right? So like,
he's a little bit. He's like
George
a smart
W.
puppet.
Bush, right?
Yeah.
That to me is a dumb puppet type person, where he's got Dick Cheney's hand up his ass, right? Running everything. And so it's kind of like, I don't think that's what's going on with Trump, because I'm not saying he's not stupid, but I'm not saying that he's being helped, but I don't think he's being controlled. Right?
Yeah,
I don't think
he can't
there's
be
anything about what he's saying,
all
and
right.
he's influenced, right? He hears shit, crazy cockamamie shit coming from Fox and from J.D. Vance and from every other pop-up lunatic that's in his circle, right? He hears all that stuff and consumes all that, and shits it back out of his mouth. But it's not. So he is being. I guess you could say he's being controlled, but I don't think he's under control, and I don't think someone's because if he was under control, he would not be saying stupid shit like Detroit. What at the end of a talk. What was it?
He's in Detroit.
Not the Small Business Administration. It's like what is that the business club that's in every city, right?
The Rotary Club?
The Rotary Club, but it's like, yeah, that's who he's talking to, and then to haul off and say,
if Kamala Harris gets in office, the whole United States is going to be as fucked up as Detroit or something like that. It's going to be a hellhole just like Detroit. He's sitting in Detroit. This is, yeah.
And we were just in Detroit. Actually, we were in Detroit during the first debate.
And I can tell you,
Grandpa Joe.
What were you going to say?
Yeah, Detroit's amazing.
Yeah.
Detroit is I don't know. I mean, it did not look like a hellhole to me. It looks like Detroit is on its way back, or maybe it wasn't as much.
We went to the train station or to the old train station. It was like I cried in the old train station. It was beautiful, like renovated train station for business. We were walking around the middle of town. Yeah, that was actually beautiful. There were lights up all over the place and sculpture and people everywhere, just people hanging out. There was like public transportation and like art art in the downtown area and stuff like that. It was wonderful. You're probably the kind of person who thinks Chicago isn't a hellhole too, right? What do you think? You probably think you can go walking around the streets of Chicago and not get shot or knifed.
Yeah.
So actually, speaking of we had some excitement here in our tiny town, right? There was a pop-up party and 2 people got shot at that last weekend. It was last weekend?
So it was like 1,000 people showing up and hanging out at the Circle K.
Yeah,
right?
Across the street from our kids'
school. Yeah, but
school.
This was in the middle of the night, right? And so these crazy pop-up parties now, I guess, that are happening where people just congregate in a parking lot somewhere,
and they're and they're run by outside companies or something like that. And people were actually charging people money to get. It was like something
really?
like $60.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, so some people were charged $60 to go to this party.
Wow,
and so somebody would think about that's really smart. Somebody probably put up a website or not a Facebook group, probably an Instagram, right? And said, hey, come to this party. It's only $60, and then we'll tell you where it is. And then they told everybody where it was, which is right off the interstate from Chicago. And then there was a pop-up party, and then people got shot, and then people were freaking out. I'm on the parents of ISU families, ISU students, parents of ISU students Facebook group, which is kind of like next door, except with the parents of ISU students. And it's like, so parents are freaking out, oh my God, I heard that people were shot at this party, and then somebody posted underneath, go on TikTok and type in Bloomington normal, party. And you'll see, and then people were posting TikToks. They're like, here's a picture of it, and people are like, oh, thank you so much for posting that. And it's like this happened right across from the Motel 6. Here's the pop-up party, and there's no Motel 6 there. And it's it was right in the parking lot of the Denny's. There's no Denny's there. And the parents are thanking people for posting these TikToks, and they've got music playing and stuff, like hip hop music playing in the TikTok, and parents thank you, and it's a huge party, and it's not here because that's not. I know that area, and I wanted to write that's not here under that, but I don't have a kid who goes to ISU, so I couldn't write anything. I could just look at it with I wasn't able to talk or say anything.
Yeah.
So my conspiracy theory was that's put on by people who are trying to get people afraid. And, oh my God, the world is a hellhole, just like Detroit. We better elect Trump because he's going to protect us from people shooting or people stabbing each other. That was my conspiracy theory, is that they're trying to elevate crime.
I don't think that's what it is. Because, it was just like when we were young back in the day in college and the Halloween parties, right?
Yeah, people died at those. Yeah,
yeah, ISU had it, and then it went over to U of I, right? When they cracked down on the ISU Halloween party, it was just people would just
riot,
descend, and it would get crazy. And then where did it go to? SIU or something? These Halloween parties every year would move. They you remember that? Like they locked down downtown campus town in Champaign, like it was like a police state. There were like snipers on the roof, and you had to show your ID to walk down the sidewalk.
Yeah. Well, that makes okay. Yeah, so it's been going on forever.
Yeah. And it's like maybe, but it's true though that people will exploit this, right? Yeah. And they'll say, "Oh, this is the end times."
Yeah. So April Smith says, "Too bad most of the MSM won't hold Trump to the same scrutiny that they did when President Biden was a candidate. They would be constantly reporting how Trump should end his campaign, but we get sane washing instead." Yeah.
He sounded really
mainstream media.
Trump sounded a little older and wearier when I heard him on I think the Detroit thing, when they played it. Yeah, he sounded, but that was like 2 hours into the.
Yeah, it was a 2-hour rally when I heard
his rant. Yeah, when he hits 2 hours,
what was it called?
What's drifting off.
What's it called that he does? The stream of consciousness, the brilliant genius.
Weaving? Does he call it the weave? What does he call it?
Because you made fun of, like you said something like you were like the weave you wrote.
Yeah, that's what he calls it. It's
God.
When they're like stay on topic, and it's like no, I'm weaving this tapestry, and it all ties together at the end. And it's like it kind of doesn't.
He's a racist fuck is what he is. He's a racist fuck. That's what drives it. Racist, greedy fuck. Sorry that I swore in your.
Yeah,
microphone.
I mean, this history of, I mean, that's been consistent in his whole adult professional life. There's that, it's not even an undercurrent, a thread of racism.
Oh
right?
Yeah.
And that's what watching that front line where you see it, it's just like, okay, man, wow, I forget. It's like you forget, and it's like, okay, the 1973, federal thing, the civil rights violations, and then the Central Park 5 stuff, and then the birtherism stuff, and it's like, oh man, this is consistent. He's consistent, weirdly consistent. Not weirdly, but it's just like, oh yeah, this is nothing new.
Yeah. So I mean, really, let's say he wins, because what's going to happen? Here's what I think.
Do we have to?
No,
let's not say it.
Okay, so here's what's going to happen. Obviously Kamala's going to win the popular vote, but there's going to be it's going to come down to Nebraska with the one vote or whatever. It's going to, I don't
extra,
think.
I think Nebraska's going to go solidly 4-1.
Okay.
All
right. So
it's Pennsylvania and Michigan.
And they might, the way it's looking, they might sort of be leaning towards Kamala, right? Yeah. They might be. And so then that's going to be contested, and you're going to have the crazies out, counting. They're going to be stories about counties where people are counting the ballots, and the other thing too. Here's the other thing.
Let me tell you, Rick.
All
here's
this
another
stuff,
thing.
the stuff where they accuse the Democrats of things that that they've just been doing all the time, they're withholding money from the Republican areas and forcing the hurricanes to hit the Republican areas and stuff, and Trump actually did that. He withheld money from places where he wasn't voted for, right? He actually did that. I've just read a story about that. So that's something that he actually did. It's unthinkable that somebody would do that, but it's actually not totally unthinkable that he would do something like that, because he's a retaliatory fuck. I mean, that's not gonna. That he is not presidential material, right? That's not what a president should do. But all these things that they they say that Democrats are doing, that they're trying to make it seem like Democrats are doing, and they're the ones who do that, and that's another thing that just really upsets me. There's this other component where they're not even truthful, they're not even trying to win fair and square. They're gonna say that the Democrats cheated and stuff. And and they're the ones who cheat. It's not like they don't cheat. Bad fucking people.
Yeah, if you see the world that way, you're going to see
projecting,
everybody. Yeah.
I like how you're just so you're like, oh well, they see the world that way, and that's why they're fucks, like I'm like they're fucks, and you're like, well, it's that's the lens that they're looking through. So, all right.
Well, it's disappointing. It is disappointing. I'm very disappointed in those people.
Yeah. So after the months after the votes get counted, and there's where are the fights going to break out? There's going to be another fight, like another like rush on the Capitol or something. Like what's?
I think it's going to be state. I think there's going to be the January 6th type stuff. I don't think it's going to be on a federal level. I think it's going to be state.
They're going to bring it to the states, like abortion.
Yeah.
Okay.
No. What I mean is North Carolina. It's going to be like North Carolina. Going to be a war zone because it's basically because they're fighting and they want all the votes to be recounted or are questioning so it's I think that stuff's going to happen and that did happen. You remember? I mean, things were getting crazy in 2000, right down in Florida. Is like at certain county, right, like county seats, right? There were people outside the buildings, and that was happening in 2020, right? People were like
standing outside the buildings, like watching the count and stuff like that, and like
all
they
that
had
crazy stuff.
Yeah.
It's gonna be amplified in every swing state.
Okay.
That goes for Kamala Harris. There's gonna be it's gonna get crazy, I think.
And they probably have people positioned in those areas anyway, like the pinpoint. They know they've pinpointed the couple of counties that they can win, right? I think it's that.
And that's like what Bag Boy Dairy King was totally freaked out because he watched Succession again, and just the idea of like a polling center or whatever getting burned down and all the votes getting burnt and stuff.
Yeah.
And he was like, oh, something like that'll happen, and then it's just totally insane. Where it's like, oh, you can't recount the votes.
They'll have to rehold the elections.
Destroyed.
Yeah.
Or there's a hack, right? And like, I mean, are anyone who's interested in undermining what's left of our democracy, I think would be actively trying to disrupt any kind of vote count, right? So hacking, right? Just pulling down one place in Wisconsin, right?
Yeah.
And burning that data.
Yeah.
Right? Like not virtually burning it, right?
So then they'd have to have a recount.
That's going to and then you wouldn't even have a recount, because it's like, how can you have a recount if somebody, totally hacks and compromises the voting data, right? And then
but
I guess we have the receipts and everything, right? So I guess in theory that's the whole thing. But I just feel like there's any kind of disruption, digital disruption. There's going to be a lot of activity around that.
My mom is Facebooking me now, like saying she's happy that Biden is in charge of the horrible hurricane situation in Florida, because if Trump were in charge, they probably wouldn't get very much money. I don't know if she's listening to the show, but
so your mom was near Sarasota,
southeast to Sarasota. My mom was like right where the hurricane was, but she's inland, so it really. It was really interesting. Like her neighbors helped put up all these like metal shutters. She has these wonderful neighbors that helped put up metal shutters, and the metal shutters look really cool. It's like, and I was like, Mom, go outside and smell the hurricane for me. Like, what does it smell like? Like, I'm fascinated. Like, I've been terrified of tornadoes my whole life, right? Always terrified of tornadoes and nukes and stuff, because these things you don't know that they're going to happen. Then I remember being scared of hurricanes too, and then I was like, oh, wait, that a hurricane's going to happen? Like even back then when I was a younger child, you would know. You'd have like days in advance of warning. And I remember the Childcraft book with like the hurricane page with like the little hurricane flags. They'd fly the hurricane flags. A hurricane is coming. I always found that fascinating. So like, they knew days in advance the path of this thing.
But everything turned out okay. Your mom
Yeah.
hunkered down.
Yeah, she hunkered down. She went to bed, and then the next morning we're like, Mom, is the lanai still there? With the pool. She's like, I don't know. I can't get out that door. I have to go out the front door. She probably woke up before the sun, as one does. But then she went out, and it looks the same there. And I just got since my family's really into paddle, I got a video of a paddle court that had a bunch of trees down on it and stuff. But I mean, the other areas like I used to go to this restaurant called Columbia Restaurant in St. Armand's Key, and it's closing forever. From the earlier hurricane. And then I saw some video of people walking in St. Armand's Key, where I would walk as a child, and they were just walking in water. It's like, I don't know if the whole island is going to be underwater. And there's Bird Key there too. There's, I don't know if that's built up, if it's higher. I don't know. Those were like million, like really expensive homes, in the Keys there. I'm so thankful that my sister's house that she got from my parents, or that they're letting them stay in, is inland like that. I'm very thankful.
Oh yeah, no, that's good.
Yeah. So, but yeah, she said it was scary, and there was a lot of noise. Can you imagine? And she doesn't have a basement either.
Yeah. It's Florida.
Yeah. I was like, I want to go there, but I know I couldn't have gotten there in time, probably, Yeah.
It would not have been a good idea to go there.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Yeah. So anyway. Okay, Balti says hello. Hello, Balti.
Wow.
Yeah. That's nice. So the great cover-up is happening right now, I think. I think it's soon. I know this because I get, on my Facebook feed, it's like people, can I borrow, anybody have a fringe cowboy jacket that I could borrow? Anybody got cowboy boots I can borrow? We need some black leather pants. Anybody got that?
So the great cover-up in Champaign, an event for, how long has it been now? 30 years? 35
over
years?
That.
It's been a long time.
Yeah.
Where local bands, for charity, they play covers. But they don't just play covers. They each band chooses a band to cover, right? So they play more than one song.
Yeah, that's the thing. You can't just play a Beatles song and a Who song, and the radio.
Although sometimes people have cheated.
Yeah. And you weren't. And when it first started, so our first band that we chose was the Digits, and they played after us. And they would.
Was that the first one?
Yes.
That was the first one?
Yes.
Okay.
It was. Did they do AC/DC? Is that what they would have done, or what did they do?
One time they did AC/DC. One time they did Ted Nugent.
Yeah, I think they did.
Which was less problematic back then.
Yeah. But
not that much less actually.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
Wow. So the second one was, okay.
And the thing is, then the next year you couldn't pick any band that had already been covered. Those were the rules.
And that was fine for the first 4 or 5 years. Yeah, but then it got
and
difficult.
Then some band just kept covering the Clash every year, and broke the rules. That was funny because they did a really good job at it. Was that Love Cup or?
I can't remember. Who did that.
It was a Mark Baldwin project. So if Balti is still listening, you should tell us what bands you've covered. What bands have we covered? There was the one year that we covered the Cars, and because we had just gotten back from Europe or something like that.
Tour. We just gotten off tour, and we
had no time to.
Day before, we practiced a bunch of Cars songs.
People came up to us and said, "That was great. Who did you cover?"
Who was it?
Who was it?
The Who. We did do the Who because we. Yeah, we did the Who because there's video of us playing other shows like at Club Soda, and we played Won't Get Fooled Again and Happy Jack, I think. I was like, I don't even remember learning Happy Jack.
I don't remember that either.
But yeah, so we played David Bowie, played the Velvet Underground.
Yeah.
Salaryman did Kraftwerk one year. That was much later.
That I don't remember.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things I don't remember. But I do remember I loved learning Digit songs. And Cody says, my high school band covered He's My Star by Poster Children, Lal. Why Lal, Cody?
What's so
It's
funny
always got to
about
be
that?
like lol, like as in we were joking,
Space Hog, Space Hog covered "He's My Star" at
Yeah.
least a few times.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So you're cool, Cody, because you covered a song that Space Hog covered. Okay. What else you got?
You want to talk about this Aurora Borealis
Bullshit?
bullshit?
Yeah. Listen, you fuckers. I was actually angry. I was laying in bed angry last night. All right, so I'm on Facebook because I'm old, and they're like I don't know, meteorologist Jacob Dickey or whatever. I follow meteorologists on there. There's always a picture of the there's always a picture of the globe with the Arctic Circle, 1/3 from the top in the middle. So it's that picture, right? And then there's a bunch of concentric rings, and it's they're different colors, and it's you're gonna be able to see the Aurora Borealis tonight. Go outside. And the first day I was like, holy shit, and so we went driving around. We're in the middle of nowhere, but there's still lights everywhere. What did you drop something? We're in the middle of nowhere, but there's still lights around, so you got to keep driving. Oh, okay, all right, it's dark now, and then there's a giant, some giant lights. Oh crap, got to keep driving, and then there's cars behind you, so you got to keep driving. So we finally got out to Lake Bloomington, right, or something like that, and we're walking around. This was the first Aurora Borealis, and you look off into the distance, and there's kind of a little light. I'm like, is that it? Or is that the city? Is that it? What is that? Is it moving? Is it moving to, is it kind of, remember it was kind of there's just a little bit of light, and it kind of, over the half an hour, it kind of seems like it moved over a little bit. So it wasn't this, and then you stick your phone up, and you take a picture, and the white area is kind of reddish, and it's oh, is that it?
It's the iPhone Borealis. So yeah.
Oh
I've
my
actually
God.
seen the Aurora Borealis, and it was really freaking up far north on the border of
You had to work.
Minnesota and Canada, up in these
Was it
lakes.
cold? Wait,
Yeah.
was it
was
winter?
in the summer.
Oh,
No,
it was in the summer. Okay. All right.
I think it was in the summer.
Yeah.
But it was really far north, and also probably almost 40 years ago, so less light pollution. But it was also, islands, right up in the lakes up there.
Yeah.
And
What did it look like?
It was amazing. Sheets of green and pulsing, and it's amazing.
This is why I want to watch Local Hero again.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so definitely take an opportunity, drive up north, and I'm not talking,
Go to Canada.
not talking the Illinois Wisconsin border, and actually experience, this celestial event, being able to capture it on your iPhone, right?
iPhone Borealis. Okay.
the
Yeah.
iPhone
yeah,
Borealis.
Yeah.
I mean, great. Okay.
I
So
didn't
it's like this celestial happening has been Instagrammed, right? It's been iPhoned.
Oh.
It's like, oh, if I, hold the camera up, do a long exposure, and then I get this touch of green and red, and I've seen the Aurora Borealis.
Oh, you've seen it. Yeah. So everybody else is a poser to you.
Yeah,
That's
totally.
cool. Yeah. Yeah. I wouldn't mind. I guess
The thing is I want people to see it. It would be great.
Yeah.
You should see it, and it would be lovely if there wasn't so much light pollution, in our world.
turn your fucking lights off, people. So what was I gonna say? Damn it. Well, so then I was laying in bed, and I was like, I'm not going out. I'm not going to go outside. I don't care. Fuck this. I don't care if there's and then I'm looking at Facebook, and there are pictures. People are like, look, and their faces are there, and then there's the Aurora Borealis behind them. I'm like, fuck. I don't care. And then this morning I wake up, and there's the pictures with the people who have colored the sky, and they're like, here's my Aurora, they're making fun of it too, and that made me even angrier. I was like, God damn it. Now people are rebelling against the Aurora Borealis. Okay.
Well, yeah, it's because it's been turned in.
Yeah.
It's been Instagrammed.
Yeah. All right. Balti says, "Oh wow, I remember Depeche Mode, Psycho Candy era, Jesus Mary Chain. Oh, Psycho Candy era, Jesus and Mary Chain, and Berlin. They did Berlin.
I remember Berlin, and
wherein the power went out at the Blind Pig during sex. I'm a." Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. Yeah. If anybody could cover, Balti's such a good musician. Cody B could not see shit in Philly. Cody, you better vote, man. Are you going to vote? All right, you know what? Don't even tell us if you're going to vote for Trump. We don't want to know. And if you're not going to vote, don't tell us also. I'll be upset.
I went and got my COVID booster today.
Did you get a flu shot too, or just a
No,
COVID
I
booster?
got a flu shot a couple weeks ago.
Did you get Pfizer or?
Yeah, that was so
you
weird.
got the Pfizer?
They asked Pfizer or Moderna, and I was like, "Shit, I don't know which one. Which one's the better one?" And then I just finally said Moderna.
Oh, you got the Moderna. Because remember, we got like the first two Modernas, like I nearly died the first couple of times.
Yeah, I looked at my card.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have my 2023 on the card, but
I got Pfizer last time.
But it was all Moderna up until 2020, like the last 2022 one was Pfizer. So
I wonder if you're going to get sick.
I don't know. I've gotten sick before.
Yeah.
Cody's
not voting for Trump. Okay, thank you, Cody.
Jill Stein.
All right. Well, I'm going to get them. I'm going to get the Pfizer when I get it again, and also I need to get the shingles vaccine. I'm going to be sick. I don't.
Yeah, I got the shingles vaccine. I got it. That's the two-parter, right?
Yeah.
And so last year at the doctor's, at my regular doctor's appointment, my yearly exam, I got the first shingles, and then I went to Jewel Osco to get the second one, and now they both think that I need to get a second shot. I occasionally get emails saying, I think I finally got it resolved, but it was like, you need to get the second booster. And it's like, I did. I just didn't get it at the same place, And so it's like, ugh.
I've got a...
So think about that. If I was already full on into my dementia, I would probably be just getting pumped up with the shingles vaccine.
Yeah,
right?
that's not good. Yeah.
Was it shingles? Is it shingles? Yeah, shingles is the chicken pox, right? It's
I
the
don't know.
fancy grown-up name for chicken pox, right?
Oh, I didn't know that either. April Smith says, as a possible red state refugee, how's the live music scene there? Live music scene is great here. Right?
Here in...
You don't mean Bloomington.
In Bloomington or just Illinois?
Illinois? I mean...
How's the live music scene anywhere nowadays, right?
It's
Do people
good.
go out? It is? The people go out
It's
and
great,
go
yeah.
see
People
musicians play? Okay,
Every
good.
time I go out, there's other people there. And people, who were you talking about our drummer went to see somebody and you were like, oh yeah, I saw them. And I was like, I don't recognize that band name, so I didn't answer. Who was it?
God, now I can't
It's like
remember.
the Verlaines or something like that.
Yeah, Fontaines.
Fontaines, okay.
DC.
Okay, well, anyway, I always hear people are going to see festivals all the time. There's Pygmalion here. There are a couple of festivals in Chicago. Chicago's a beautiful city to move to.
Although I just saw an article that was like the end of festivals, destination festivals or whatever.
Good, it should be. Cody says you get chicken pox as a kid and then it comes back as shingles when you're an adult.
Yeah, it hides.
Oh, it hides. Okay.
And then you're...
All right, what else you got?
I can tell you about my planner nightmare.
You have any music for that?
Oh, what would that be? That would be, let's see if I can remember which button it is.
It could be either one.
Nope.
No, it should be that. The joke is...
It could be. It could be this.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
But, the joke is that since you're a man, it always has to be the electronic one.
Exactly.
Like
and
he could talk about recipes and it would be that. Okay.
So I'm still in my organizational world. I'm still using Capacities, online as my personal knowledge management system.
Do you use projects or pages or what do you use?
It's mostly Pages now.
Wow. Okay. All right.
And sometimes meetings.
Capacities is nice because it's object oriented, so you can connect all your notes together and then you can search through them and they automatically
You can link stuff. And
Yeah.
but it's not as fiddly as Notion or Obsidian. Like you don't have to build your own. It's got some templates and kind of structure in there already, so you don't have to spend half your life building your system.
And can I ask why the hell you even need an organizational system? Aren't you just a teacher, or do you do other stuff?
Yeah, you're probably right.
No,
You
I'm
need
asking
one.
you, like, no, this is all like Senate stuff, all the different meetings that you have, right? And all the different, like...
And people trying to keep track of people now. And
Yeah.
RadioZero episodes.
Do you have a Rose? Am I an object in there?
I think you are, but I don't have to, like, for you, I don't need to have details. Yeah.
Oh, I'm going to have to look at yours. Right now I'm back to
yeah.
notes. I'm back to the notes on my phone because
One thing I don't like is the search. Oh, there it is.
Do you use capacities on your phone too?
Sometimes, but mostly I
Wow.
use it on the laptop.
Yeah, see, I'm on my phone and I need to take notes all the time, so it's not easy for me. Anyway, you're using capacities, which
And then-
is digital.
I mean, I have my but the problem is and then I've got my calendar, and then I've got this thing called GQs, which is like the calendar, like integrated to-do list that integrates with your Google Calendar. So to-dos are events also, right?
And not your Outlook calendar. Only your fucking Google calendar.
Outlook
so I
calendar,
can't use
man,
it. I
Outlook.
wish I could use it.
But I still I feel like I need a paper thing to kind of, for more big picture stuff. I can never, like, even on my calendars, my digital calendars, I can't look at them and get the longer term scope. And so what I'll do is, and I know this is bullet journal stuff, but I was doing this before a bullet journal. Is, I'll do kind of like a monthly thing where I'll write out in my little paper notebook that I have. I'll write out every day of the week, right, on a page. So maybe 25 or 30 days, and then just a quick note kind of each day divided up into 3 sections of what has to be done there. And I can look and I can see, oh yeah, in 2 weeks, I'm going to have to freaking get this artwork done for this thing here. I can look at like a longer term thing, or it's like, oh, I'm going to be going away, traveling. And so I can see that long term. But then I felt like I needed a paper version of the weekly kind of thing. So even looking at it weekly on the digital, it's like I just like marking out at the beginning of the week or on Sunday night, marking out all the time and the things I'm going to do in the week. And so I was looking, and then it was like, oh yeah, like I think it's the Hobonichi system. But a lot of these planners have, the weekly kind of 2 pages with the week on it, and each day of the week. And I tried to find, but I like vertical. I like it vertical, so it's like columns, and then you mark off, and the time, and then it was like, okay, I'm trying to find a notebook, and then it's like, oh, you got to wait until like all these are dated, and this one's in Japanese, and it's like, couldn't find that. I finally found something called the Laconic notebook system, which is a Japanese. It's a competitor alternate to the Hobonichi.
Did you say
Techo.
like there's like you have to wait for that to get released and then be one of the people who orders it or something, right? There's that's like a hipster thing.
For the Hobonichi thing, it's like it's like Hobonichi Day. It's like I think the JetPens site crashed. JetPens sells like Japanese pens and notebooks and stuff, and like their site crashed on the day that they released the 2025 Hobonichi planners. But I don't want, and it's like, I don't want a big thing that's also got all the date, and it's got all that stuff. And so I finally found this Laconic monthly planner that was, again, Japanese.
It.
Yeah. But I don't have it here. But it was time, it wasn't dated, right? So it's just like pages and pages of weekly columns, for each day. And I was trying that out, and it's too small. It only comes in this small, like not 8.5 by 11, but like 5, whatever that the metric version of that is. Like, is it A5? I can't remember. And it's like I'm trying to use it, but first off, it only had like each hour, and I want a half-hour division, right? And then it was also 24-hour clock, which I love the idea of 24-hour clocks, right? 24-hour time, but my brain just doesn't work. It's like I have to, like I don't like sitting there and going, oh, 6 o'clock is 1800, right? And doing all
15,
that.
is that 3 or yeah, it's always
Yeah.
15 o'clock that gets me.
So I couldn't work with that, and so then I went and I found what I call a mom planner. So graphically, it's got like sans serif fonts, and everything, and it doesn't look sci-fi Japanese or like Blade Runner-y. And so I've got that.
Are you the only person who calls it a mom planner?
Yeah.
Fuck you.
Or it's an academic planner, but it looks like
Teachery? It looks art
and
educator-y?
It's a black fake leather cover, soft.
Okay.
And but the page is like it's got gilding or whatever around the edges, but it's pink, and then the numbers and stuff are serifed.
Wait, is that the one that I saw?
Yeah.
So it's really big.
It's big.
He's got really, really big.
It's big, but I can go through and I can, just with
it's
my
like
big,
11 by 17 paper or something.
My big fat 1.0 millimeter pencil.
Yeah.
Mechanical pencil. I can
It's
mark
beautiful.
off sections. Yeah, it's great.
It looks like a Harry Potter thing. Like
But
it looks like something you'd get at Hogwarts.
Yeah, it's got the little Bible bookmark things. It's got 2 of them, so you can bookmark the monthly page and then bookmark your weekly page.
So when Rick took this out, it was like he had to lift with his it was like lifting out a huge a map, but a really thick map.
So
and like you said, the pages have gold on the ends of them. It's beautiful.
It's July 2024 to July 2025 or June 2025, and so it's
year
big.
25.
But I need something that's 8.5 by 11, right? I need it bigger because I'm old and I can't use a little tiny thing. And then
where do you keep it? Do you keep it
in my briefcase?
Wow.
It fits, but it's too big, And then and then I found this German company that they're releasing their 2025 Rotofarben, or I don't know what it is, and they've got the vertical planner thing, but it's all in German and English, right, instead of Japanese, and then it's got the 24-hour thing, and it's like, I'm going to get one of these, but then on the JetPen site they started selling it, and it's like, they're 2 different sizes, and all the U.S. distributors of these German planners, they're only selling the small size. So again, that's my problem again, where it's too tiny. I want the big one, and I think the only way to get the big one of this German planner would be to order it from the company directly and pay $100 to ship it, or what, I don't even know if they ship to the U.S. Right? I'd have to pay for it in euros and then convince them to ship it to me. So, and then I told you about this yesterday or the day before.
You didn't tell the people.
Yes. I got a email from A25, the movie company,
A24.
right? A24, sorry, I always say A25.
You were one step ahead.
Maybe
of
it
them.
was A25 and I just got scammed.
Yeah, it's possible.
And they sell all sorts of merch. So I bought but not merch, but I bought the Stop Making Sense, DVD.
Coasters. Is that what you said?
No, I didn't.
Okay, all right.
A couple months ago, I bought Stop Making Sense, the Blu-ray or whatever, and I got an email, but for their merch stuff, their sales, and it was like 90. It was a crossword puzzle book, 90 movie crossword puzzles, and I was like, that's interesting, and I went over there and I looked, and I thought, maybe I'll buy this, and then I'm looking, and it's like, they have Stop Making Sense coasters, so those red and white slides that are shown during Stop Making Sense, one of the songs, right, with just some random words on them like TV set and fart or something, it's like all sorts of words, and they had a coaster set, so I'm going to get that, and then it popped up, you might also like, and it was a planner, and I looked at it, and I'm like looking, and I'm like, oh my God, and then I start looking at the page designs, and it's like, it's a vertical weekly planner in English with, PM, AM, and PM times. And it was like...
And no dates.
No dates. Timeless? Yeah, so you fill it in.
Yeah.
So it's like, once I hit, May or June, when I'm off school and everything like that, I don't need to have a bunch of blank pages. And it was like a miracle from God, or from the planner gods. It was presented to me. So I'm very excited.
When is that coming?
Soon. Very soon. I'll let
Yeah.
you all know. I know you're all
Yeah,
excited,
yeah.
I'm sure. Just this past 10 minutes has been very, very exciting. But I'm excited to get this weekly planner.
So an old woman keeps popping up on my Facebook feed and putting lipstick on, and I bought that lipstick today. So terrible.
Yeah. You get, yeah.
I don't buy everything though. And also I sold something on Poshmark, so I was very happy about that.
I was so excited about the German notebook, too. I was like, oh, this is it. And then I was like, nope.
They
Don't
only
buy it.
Yeah,
Don't buy it. Don't buy the tiny one. The tiny one you will not be able to see. You'd have to, put on your reading glasses or take your glasses off and hold it at a half an inch from your face to be able to fill it in. That's the whole point, is like to get a bigger picture view of your flipping week.
Do you cross things out?
No. This is more like, so it's like a
Yeah, what
like
are
a
you
paper
putting-
calendar. So it's
Yeah.
it's kind of inefficient and ridiculous. Like there's no reason, because all of my scheduling, like there's no way, like I could not move to a paper planner for my life, right? Because the paper planner does not, hit you in the face every time you have a meeting, and tell you, oh, don't forget, you gotta freaking go over to this
Does
room.
your watch hit you in the face?
My watch buzzes, my phone buzzes, right? So I can't. This paper planner thing, it's totally like secondary and everything, right?
But so my therapist says, research states that old people like to see their planners on paper still, because they're just not, their minds didn't develop in this. So it's easier to, and that's what I've decided. So
But for me, it's more like getting an idea of what my day or my week is, right? Just having that big picture view, because the digital, looking at it on the screen for some reason and seeing all the boxes, the hundreds of boxes that are to-do items and classes and appointments and meetings
see it that way.
and reminders,
Right.
it just doesn't work. But if I sit there and I draw it out, fill in the boxes, and then look at them, it's like, oh, okay. I don't know, for some reason it helps, but I can't jump fully into that, because I would basically never.
Yeah, you need.
I would miss this
Yeah.
podcast. I would never go to class again. I would miss every meeting, because if I had to go and look in a book and see when, and then on top of it, also remember to put in the book that 2 weeks from now you got to go to this meeting, right? And then on top of it, I'm getting informed. Hey, you're invited to a meeting. It's not like I get a letter. And I go to my mailbox and I open up the letter, and then I open up my paper planner and write in, don't forget, 3 months from now, you've got to go to this meeting. You have been invited to.
Yeah.
It's like it's all in my digital world. So it's kind of like
Yeah.
I don't know why I'm doing it, but
because
it does help.
research states that that's how you want to see.
Because I'm an old person. But that's I don't know.
I mean,
Anyways.
maybe also you have tons and tons of responsibilities too. Like maybe
But I can look at
people
all
don't-
that on my digital, and I do look.
You
at
can't
it
though.
on my
You
phone.
can't see it all on one page. You can't.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. There's not enough real estate on the phone. So
Okay.
well, you've been listening to the fascinating world of Rick's planners.
I need my own podcast, just rambling.
Yeah,
about
that'd be really cool.
my
I'd like
note-taking
that.
systems.
Yeah, I'd totally listen to that.
What would
Thank
it be
you.
called? We'll think about it.
Yeah. Rick's Planning World.